Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at Ask Adam Torres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Steve Watson on the line. He's founder and CEO over at Trendbreakers. Steve, welcome to the show.
Super excited to be here and have a conversation with you.
All right, Steve. So excited to get into this today. So you recently launched Trendbreakers, the company that matches employers with the perfect employee benefit package. So I'm excited to get into that and what that means for your clients. But before we do, let's go a little bit further in your background. Just give the audience a little bit of time to warm up to, how you got started in your career. So how did you get started in your career and in business?
Well, I've had an exciting career of being a CPA. So my background is I'm a CFO of a 500 employee company here in Arizona. As a CFO, I've got my MBA and my CPA and done all the finance stuff. But about a year into my tenure, the HR director quit. And so they looked at me and they said, finance HR, it's about the same thing. We're going to give you HR department as well. I'm like, I don't know in what world those two things are the same thing, but yeah. I became the HR director as well. And I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And one of those areas that cross over the most is employee benefits, because we have employee benefits to be able to recruit and retain our employees, but there's a cost component that's one of the second or third largest expenses that companies have. And so those two hats combined, and I got hit with a really big increase of 30% one year, and it just drove me nuts. I'm like, I know how to negotiate everything in this company, but nobody ever taught me how to negotiate benefits and how this all works. And I had to go find hundreds of thousands of dollars in the company to try and pay for these benefits, and each employee was having to pay hundreds of dollars each month. And so I vowed that I was never going to go through that again. I went down this path of trying to figure that out and was able to discover ways to save money at my company that turned into $500,000 worth of savings per year. It just got me really excited about this area and sharing with other people.
Wow, I love this. And what I love about it is that I think some of the best business ideas is when somebody is trying to solve a problem for themselves, they solve that problem, and then they're like, you know what? If I'm having this problem and it cost me all this headache, then somebody else is too. So let me see if I can help some others with that. I love it. I love when that happens. I think it's a great thing.
The system's so messed up that I felt that if I didn't help others, I was more complicit in the system and how screwed up it was.
So speaking of, I think that's a great transition. So let's just jump right into Trendbreakers. So how are you helping your clients? Tell us more.
So Trendbreakers is a consultancy as well as a group of employers that come together to help each other. And so I'm not a broker. I don't sell insurance. There's plenty of good people out there. But what I felt was missing is for a place where employers could come together that could learn from each other, that could find an unbiased place. I mean, there's no Yelp reviews for brokers and carriers. There's no Amazon reviews. There's nothing out there. And so I felt like creating that. And then I also wanted to be able to share my ideas with other people and then have them be able to share with me. And so I created Trendbreakers as that community. And so we have about 300 employers within our group right now sharing ideas every week and helping each other.
Man, that's exciting. And what kind of response have you gotten from the community members?
Most of it comes with I never knew about this. I never knew that there was so many misaligned incentives, that the brokers that I bring in that say that are working for me, one of the things is most of them get paid more when the premiums go up because they're based off of commissions. And so you have somebody that's helping you. And so back that day when I got the 30% rate increase, my broker was in line to get a 30% raise, which just, again, rubbed me the wrong way, that the person's helping me is getting paid opposite of where I'm kind of aligned. So that's one of the things I help employers do.
Can you give some examples of some things that have been solved for, within the community? You don't have to give, of course, the name of a company or anything like that, but just to put a little bit of meat around this, because to say that you can save, some of the people out there oh yeah, everybody says that you can save or you can do something else, but that I'm not in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll give a real life example, and it's a small one, but it highlights all of this stuff. So last year I had red eyes. My doctor says you need to go get these allergy drops, and so I run over to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy's like, oh, these are kind of expensive. I'm like, that's not a good sign. So, well, how much are they? And they said they're $235. And I'm like, well, my eyes are red, but not that red. So I'm getting ready to walk out there. And I'm like, well, I got insurance because we have this built into us that if we have insurance, we're going to get the best rate. And so I hand him my insurance card and he says, okay, your insurance rate's $231. I'm like, well, good job, big insurance company. He sent me $4. But then I remember there's this app on my phone. You know, if you don't have it, I highly recommend you download. It's called GoodRx. You download it on your phone. You don't have to put any personal information. There's no cost to it. And the same prescription at the same pharmacy with the same dosage, everything was $75 using GoodRx versus my insurance card, which is $231. And then it showed me on the map that if I drove 3 miles away, it was $20. And I was like, so I drive the 3 miles, and it was 1/10 of the cost of what the insurance was going to cost me. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know, first I'm like really ticked off that I was about ready to get hosed. But then I'm also happy that I was able to get the drops that my eyes needed because I got the care. I got it at a reasonable price. Mm-hmm. And then it just made me think again about that's one transaction for one employee throughout the whole year. And so if you take just a simple thing like that and expound it across all your employees and all the transactions they have, there's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of savings there that we just do things in a different way. And that's just, you know, that's pharmacy. You can do the same thing for doctors. You can do the same thing for negotiating your insurance and stuff. And that's where employers save a lot of money if they would just take the time to dig into it a little bit more.
Man, that's amazing. I love this story. So that being said, Steve, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Trend Breakers, a two-part question. So number one, what are the right types of companies that it makes sense to get involved with Trend Breakers? Number one. Number two, what's the best way for them to learn more?
So I usually, again, I have my day job's with a 500 employee company. And so I really, that's my niche is about 100 employees, 1,000 employees. I know that space really well. The smaller that you get, the more creative you have to get, and there's things that you can do, and I can help employers on that side. Or if you get really big, you can know a lot of politics and different things there. But especially if you are an employer, HR professional, CFO, CEO, you have between 100 and 1,000 employees, I can help you. I can help you learn about this area, connect with other employers, be able to replicate their ideas. You can find us. The website's trendbreakers.com. You can also find the groups on Facebook and on LinkedIn by searching Trend Breakers.
That's awesome. Well, Steve, really appreciate you coming on the show today, and I love what you're doing because how many employees, like a lot of people would have just bought those drops. I mean, it's a great example. I know it's a small one, but it's not small. Like somebody would have paid $200 and something for some drops that with an app that's free on their phone, they could have, you know, paid $20 for 3 miles. So you got paid for driving, let's say 2 or 3 miles. You got paid, what was it, $250? Not bad, not a bad day's work, right? For $250
and that's one transaction.
Less than an hour.
Yeah, and then that's, you know, I've done that probably 4 times over just the last 12 months. And so you just expound it across different types of prescriptions your family needs. Highly recommend it. And just don't believe the myth that insurance always has the best cost because a lot of times they don't.
I love it. Well, hey, Steve, thanks again for coming on the show. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments on the video. I mean, love to know what kind of things and projects you're working on. And Steve, thanks again for coming on the show.